Hockey town, going down to hockey town, whoa, whoa. Hockey town, take me down to hockey town, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hello, hockey fans. The Minnesota Hockey Connection show is on the air. We're at PACT-TV Studios. It's Monday, May 23rd. And boy, there's still hockey. The National Hockey League is going through their Stanley Cup. They're in the second round. The North American Hockey League, the Tier 2 Junior League with 29 teams, is down to just 2 teams right now. And the championship game is Tuesday, May 24th. And that'll be between the New Jersey Titans and the Anchorage Wolverines. So that's coming in the end. The USHL just ended their season, and Sioux City Musketeers won the Clark Cup, which is the Stanley Cup of the USHL. And there's a Minnesota kid that is coming to UMD. And he was a top scorer, one of the top scorers in the league this year, and I guess he was the most goal-scoring player that the Sioux City Musketeers ever had. So that's looks bright for UMD with this prospect coming in. He'll be here next year. And what else is going on? There's a lot of U18, U16 kids playing in tournaments down in the cities this weekend, and it's going on right now. And boy, I mean, you think hockey's over. It's not. So let's get started with the North American Hockey League Robertson Cup. We had the Director of Communications and Sales and Marketing on last week, Alex Curious. And boy, what an event they throw. It's down at Fogarty Rink, and plus they have the U18 and U16s playing, some at Fogarty, but most of them up at the Super Rink where they have 8 rinks up there. And they had a lot of the girls teams up there too, playing in their U18, I think they have a U19 team, U16, U14s, but a lot of girls teams were up there too. But let's start the Robinson Cup. Down to the final 4 teams coming in on Friday. And to start out the first game on Friday, the Anchorage Wolverines beat St. Cloud 2-1. But the Anchorage goalie was hot. He made 48 saves against St. Cloud. And his name is Rathan Robbins. He's from Anchorage, so. But 48 saves out of 49 shots he made over St. Cloud, and they beat him 2-1. So this is a best-of-3 series, so they play again Saturday. And, I mean, St. Cloud dominated that first game and that, but couldn't put the puck in the net. Second game, though, the Wolverines beat St. Cloud 6-2. And I'll tell you, this Robbins kid in the nets, I think a lot of people he's getting a lot of looks now because of the way he played in this Robinson Cup. So his team will be playing for the championship game on May 24th, tomorrow night, Tuesday. This is Monday here, doing this show. So, well, good luck to him again, because he's playing a good hockey. It kind of reminds me of, usually Minnesota goalies don't get far in the National Hockey League or chance to play even. And I tell you what, this year, the Calgary coach said that in the first round when Calgary played Dallas that Minnesota goalie was the best player in the whole series, Jake Ottinger. And he played his hockey at Lakeville North, and then he left his senior year. But it's great to see goalies dominate the game, and that's what you have to do when it comes to playoffs. The hot goalie is going to get your team some W's. And the second two teams, we got the New Mexico Ice Wolves and New Jersey Titans. In the first game, the New Mexico won 3-1. In the second game, the Titans scored like a minute and a half before the end of the game and won in overtime 3-2. And then they had to play a third game last night, Sunday, and it went into double overtime. They pulled the goalie on that game too and scored with a minute and a half left when they had an empty net, and they tied the game, and then they went in two overtimes, and then they beat them 4-3, and so now they're in the championship game for the Robinson Cup, and that, like I said, is Tuesday, May 24th, and by the time this show goes on the air, we will have a winner and season over for the North American Hockey League. Boy, the North American Hockey League does a good job in everything. Their marketing, the way they handle people, scouts, media. They're a class act, and they've been that way for years now. And I appreciate everything they do for me, but I know a lot of other people say the same thing. And the teams, the players, head coaches, and you name it. Owners of these teams, they love the way everything is handled by the North American Hockey League and Mark Frankenfeld, the commissioner. So, thank you again, the North American Hockey League. And if you want to watch any of their games, you just go on hockey.tv, or you can go on nahl.com and you can click on the game and TV there. And another good thing, the North American Hockey League has 29 teams and 264 NCAA commitments played for these teams this year. That's a lot of players going to play D1 hockey. Some of them might have been got committed right after high school or even during high school maybe. But 264 players played in this league. So it's a solid league, and to me, in the last 10 years, I think any team in this league can play against the USHL with their first two lines, the first pair of D and goaltender. Then I think the USHL gets a little deeper on their third and fourth line. So, great for the North American Hockey League. And by the way, they have their draft on June 15th. This is where a lot of kids get drafted by a lot of these teams, and Minnesota kids especially have a chance to play for one of these teams. So that draft is June 15th, 1 p.m. Central Time. You can go on their website, nahldraft.com. nahldraft.com. And you can watch how the draft is proceeding during the day there. Or you can even go on hockey.tv and watch it too. So it's a great day in the North American Hockey League, and all these teams are, all their scouting all year round and that. So they got tenders already, a lot of these teams. So whatever draft picks they have left to get to that number, that I think they can have 30 to start, up to 30 now players on their rosters to start the season, and then they have to drop down to 25. So if they have tenders, then they have to minus that from the 30 and the players that they have coming back. And so that's how many drafts they'll get. So we'll see how that works out. And then going back to the USHL Junior League, that's the only Tier 1 Junior League. Sioux City Musketeers won the Clark Cup. They lost the first game to Madison Capitals. That's Ryan Suter. He has ownership, part ownership. I don't know if he has full ownership. I think him and his brother have full ownership. of the Madison Capitals. And the Musketeers lost the first game. Sioux City, I've been there many times. One of our UMD previous assistant coach, Brett Larson, was down there as a general manager and head coach. And then Mark Avalon, who used to coach in the Duluth area for the youth teams, Duluth East Bantams and that, he was an assistant coach down there for Brett Larson and the coach that came after him. So there's some little history there of Duluth coaches there down in Sioux City. So Sioux City came back after that first game, and they won 3-0. Then they won 3-2. Then they lost, and then they won in overtime, 2-1 to win the cup. That's the best out of 5. So they won the last 3 games. So they won 3 out of 4. And like I said, Ben Steves, who played high school hockey over at Eden Prairie, and he's a UMD commitment, and he had a great season in the 60 games, not counting the playoffs. He had 39 goals, 28 assists, so he had a point a game. So he was in the top 10 in scoring this year. I think he was about 6th or 7th in the USHL. So that's good to see a Minnesota kid. And his 2 brothers were good hockey. His older brothers, they both played at Notre Dame for the Irish in D1 hockey. So it's going to be interesting watching this kid because he's small, but what I like about him, he's always around the net. And a lot of players don't like being around the net because of the body contact. But this kid, he has no worries. He's always around there, and that's probably why he's scoring a lot of goals. I was watching the North American Hockey League, and at the same time they have, like I said, the U18. And they had a lot of these North American Hockey League teams have these U18 teams that they put together in their area. So the Wilderness, which is out of Cloquet, put a team together, and basically they were out of, they were playing with a lot of local kids, and it was a fun watching them a couple games and this weekend. And the first line, for this team, they had Hermantown kids, Riot Carlson, and then they had Dominic Thomas, and then Cade Kohansky. And then the second line, they had 3 Denfield kids, Simon Davidson, Andrew Larson, and Caden Postal. And then they had East on the third line, Cole Christian, Thomas Gunderson. Then they had a Rapid kid on that line too. But then they had another center from East on the fourth line, Aiden Spenzaby. So all these local kids are real good hockey players. They really look good as a team playing with. This is Denfield, Hermantown. Then they had some couple Grand Rapids kids too. So it was great watching these kids, and I look forward to seeing them this next year. Most of them will be seniors, so it'll be fun. And I'll tell you what, right now, even though Hermantown is going to lose to the Plant Boys, and they might lose Ty Hansen, their D that's committed to the University of Minnesota Duluth, they'll probably start out the season as the #1 team in Class A again. And their competition is going to be Warroad, Montemita, and East Grand Forks. If East Grand Forks finds a goalie, they'll have a very nice team too. So that'll be great hockey. So then East will have a very good team. I just put down some of the players. They're going to have a lot of good forwards. They probably can find 3 good lines on this team. So I don't know if Zimski's going to be coming back to play for East, but if he does, I think they have a chance to go to state. This will be a pretty good team. And I know most of these players went through all the Mike Grant, the ex-coach there, Mike Randolph, through his camps and that. everyone but Gunderson, I guess, was the only one that didn't go through his camps. But so a lot of these are still, I would say, Mike Randolph's kids that he coached. But it's going to be a very nice team, and I hope they do well this coming season. And I'll tell you what, the Elite League is starting in September, and we'll see how many of these players. I bet there'll be at least 3-4 players that will make the elite team for sure from the Duluth East, and I'm sure there'll be that many from Hermantown, and I say there'll be maybe 3 from Denfeld too. So there'll be a lot of local kids on the North Elite team this year, so that'll be fun to watch them. Then we're going to the National Hockey League. Boy, the playoffs are going crazy right now. And by the way, if you have cable or you're streaming, you got some streaming service, all these games are on every night. They might be on ESPN, ESPN2, TBS, and TNT, the Turner Network. So those 4 channels are putting on all the games, and there's been some great hockey. And we're in the second round of the playoffs in the Stanley Cup. And we got the Rangers and Hurricanes in one of the series. In the first game, the Hurricanes won 2-1 in overtime. Second game, the Hurricanes won 2-0. Then yesterday, the Rangers came back and beat the Hurricanes 3-1. So that series is 2-1 for the Hurricanes, the Carolina Hurricanes. And the Carolina's a very good team. And the Rangers, I like them. They have a lot of these young players that they're just going to get better and better, I think, this Ranger team. And they'll be a force to meet in the future, too. And then the second series, boy, this is a big surprise to me. The Tampa Bay Lightning is won the first 3 games in the playoff with the top team in National Hockey League in the regular season, the Florida Panthers. The Lightning has won 4-1, 2-1, and 5-1. And so they lead 3-0, and one more victory. They got 4 games to do it, and they're in the finals in the Eastern Division. And that you got to give Tampa Bay a lot of credit, though. They've won the last 2 Stanley Cups. When you win Stanley Cups, then players would get more money, and then they can't afford this guy. But the Tampa Bay team somehow finds a way to pick up a player here, a player there, and fits in perfect for them. And they got this guy, Corey Perry. He's playing great for them. So the Lightning is ahead 3-0, and I think it looks like they're on their way to the Stanley Cup finals in the Eastern Division. And if they make it, they'll play the winner of the Ranger Hurricanes, where the Hurricanes are ahead 2-1 in series play. So over in the West, boy, this is a physical series. There's a lot of love in this series because they're always pushing and shoving and hitting. The Edmonton Oilers and the Calgary Flames. The Oilers have 2 of the top 3 scorers in the National Hockey League, Conor McGregor and Leon Draisaitl. And the Flame just has a solid team. I love the little former Hobie Baker Award winner, Johnny Gaudreau. Sorry about that. But here's the score so far in the first 3 games. The Calgary Flames, 9. Oilers, 6. So the second game, the Oilers came back and beat the Flames 5-3. And then the third game, they kind of dominated the Flames and won 4-1. So the Edmonton Oilers are ahead 2-1 in that series. So I can see this going all the way, but boy, this is an intense series there. And then the other West second round is the St. Louis Blues and the Colorado Avalanche. The Avalanche, the last 3 years, I thought I picked to win the whole thing, and they never come through for me, but we'll see. This year, they're ahead 2-1 in the series. They beat the Blues 3-2 on the first game, and then the Blues came back 4-1. And then the third game, the Avalanche won 5-3, so they're ahead 2-1, 2 games to 1. And this could be an interesting series because the Blues adjust to everything. Great coaching and that. So we'll see what happens. But their goalie that came in during the Minnesota first round with the Minnesota Wild, Bennington, got hurt, and I guess he's out for the whole rest of the Stanley Cup. So he's out. So that could really hurt the Blues. So we'll see if he's not really the backup because he started out the Stanley Cup against Minnesota, the other goalie. And I can't think of his name right now. But so here we go. We're coming down close to 4 teams. So the second round. So like I said, get on. If you want to find the game, if you don't have a computer to look up where they're playing, just check out ESPN, ESPN2, TNT, and TBS. Those are the 4 channels that would put on the game. So you'll find a hockey game on any one of those channels every night. So it's great for the National Hockey League. Let's see. I'm just want to talk about a lot of things are changing in hockey where, like I was saying, I'm watching these U18s and U16s this last weekend, and it's amazing now that these kids play hockey all year round. And back at my time, this time of year, we'd be playing baseball, and during the fall, we'd be playing football, and it's just crazy that it goes all season long. And plus, when we started the Upper Midwest Elite League, this league was started by John Russo 20 years ago. And the main reason for this league was to get extra games, because if you go to juniors, you're going to play over twice as many games as you would in high school. So this gives these kids, the elite players, an extra 20-some games. But now the Elite League has changed a little bit where they're picking up sophomores. It used to be almost all seniors to be that play in this league. And once in a while you get a very elite junior. But now seems like they're going to sophomores, and then, I don't know. It just seems like it's not the same anymore, and I can see a lot of these elite high school players that are younger, sophomores and juniors, they're leaving high school and going to the juniors. Some of them are going before and after, but once they get there in the fall and before, these teams really get on them to stay if they like them. I mean, it's crazy world out there in hockey, and a lot of pressure on these kids, and I try to tell these kids that stay home and have fun with your friends, because if you're an elite player, it's gonna be work for everything you do in hockey if you want to get to the next level. So stay home and have fun and go from there. Okay, and in the fall I'll have my preseason top 10 teams in Class A and Class AA. I kind of know where they are right now, but I want to see what players are not going to be on their high school squad because they went to juniors. And so I'll put that out in fall. And for guests, I'm trying to get Coach Mike Randolph, who just got picked to be the head coach for St. Thomas Academy. The coach they at St. Thomas, former coach Trent Eicher, he got released, so I want to get Mike on and what he's been up to, because he has to find a coaching staff down there in the Twin Cities. He has to get his high school camps going, which start in June. I think June 7th, he told me the last time I talked to him. He has a lot of work and talking to the players and parents. And plus, it's because it's the private school, he's got to, get a lot of young hockey players to go to school at St. Thomas, which is a very good school. But if he can get kids come in there because of his name, that program's really going to pick up, I think. So I'm trying to get him on. Then I'm trying to get a pro scout that's retiring after this draft, which is up in Montreal. I think it's at the end of June, the draft. But it's up in Montreal this year, and he's retiring. And most of you, if you're a hockey fan, you probably know him. His name is Mike McGraw. He grew up in Hibbing, and he's been a coach. He's been a mentor for a lot of kids. He's been a pro scout for the Boston Bruins for 20 years. And until this last season, he was always on the state tournament intermission for Channel 45 in the Twin Cities. And so he's well known. Everyone knows him. Everyone loves him. Good guy. I'm trying to get him on, see if I can get him up from the cities after the draft, and then maybe we can, if not, get him up here from the Twin Cities. Maybe I can get him on the phone. But great guy, and just want to talk what he thinks where hockey's going in high school, because I've seen him at over 1,000 games in the last 20 years. So we get along real good, and so that'll be great if we can get him on. So that's where we're at. And then there's, like I say, hockey's coming to an end now, and pretty soon we're down to probably a couple shows now for this season. So, well, have a good day, and I'd like to say see you at the rink, but it's hard to get in these Stanley Cup games now. So, but we'll see you down the line. We'll probably have a show next week and talk about hockey. So, see you at the rink. Thank you, PACT-TV, Liz, Jim, and Vicky.